When you come into the land where I bring you, then it shall be that when you eat of the bread of the land, you shall offer up an offering unto HaShem. You shall offer up challah of the first of your dough for a gift. When we think of challah, we think of Shabbos, but there's more to challah than you might have imagined. According to Beit Hillel, even young unmarried daughters regarded this mitzvah as such an important thing that they would use their own money to bake enough bread to take challah every Erev Shabbat, and this is brought down in Yeridea 328. Now in today's day, we don't have a Beit HaMikdash, but we do continue to perform this mitzvah symbolically by separating a small piece of unbaked dough and burning it or disposing it in at least 2 bags. And while this is one of the 3 mitzvot given specifically to women, unfortunately in this day and age, many women forego this for a store-baked challah. But the bracha of the home is actually closely linked to this mitzvah of taking challah. And the Sephora comments that after the sin of the spies, that the Jewish people needed to bring challah offering in order to be worthy to receive the bracha in the homes. And it states, you shall also give to the Kohen the first of your dough, that he may cause a blessing to rest on your home. And this is brought down in Yehezkel 44:30. Likewise, Eliyahu told the widow, make me a little cake of it first and bring it to me. Afterwards, make for you and for your son. For thus says HaShem, the God of Israel, the jar of meal should not be spent. And this is brought down in 1 Melachim 17:13-14. And there are 3 special brachot which returned to the tent of Sarah when Rivka entered. The light would burn in the tent from one Shabbat Eve to the next. There was always a blessing of dough, and the cloud of glory would continually hang over the tent. And this is brought down in Rashi, Bereshit 24:67. The Maharal explains that these 3 brachot derive from the merit of the special mitzvah which women perform. And of course, this is Shabbat Nida and the taking of challah. The initials of these 3 mitzvahs spell out the name Chana. Now, it might seem logical that the amount of money earned by the household determines the standard of living, but the Torah teaches us otherwise. And it says ultimately that the parnasa, which is the livelihood, derives from Hashem's blessing through the mitzvah of taking challah. So then the wife becomes a worthy vessel for bringing sustenance into her home. And the Yafat Torah comments on the Bereshit Rabbah 60:16. They explain that the particular blessing of the tent of Sarah embodied the noble character traits that our mothers possessed. And the clouds of glory teaches us about their intelligence and spirituality through which they merited the prophetic spirit. And the blessing of the continuous candle is a symbol of the Shalom Bayit that they achieved. And the blessing in the dough symbolizes being thrifty and careful with the resources. Rather than being a spendthrift and overdraft, the virtuous woman ensures that the most pressing needs of the home are taken care of before indulging in luxury. This is the meaning of the bracha was always found in her dough, and this is brought down by Rashi of Bereshit 24:67. And the Maharal explains that the mitzvah of taking challah corresponds to the perfection of the world, since the dough, consisting of a mixture of flour and water, is similar to the world, which is compound from simple substances. The challah being separated out of its holy and likened to humanity, which is holier than all the other creations. This perfection is alluded to by the fact that human beings were the culmination of the creation process. Likewise, the mitzvah of separating challah is associated with perfecting the world, since it takes place after the dough is completed. This is brought down in Chidushei Agudot, page 145. Perhaps the tradition to braid the challah symbolizes unifying the split consciousness caused by the sin from eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And there's actually an opinion in the Talmud that the tree of knowledge was a wheat tree, and this is brought down in Sanhedrin 70b. As a result of eating from the tree, it became dispersed into many sheaves of wheat, and its status was lowered into mere grain. And by braiding the challah, we symbolically unified the scattered chaffs and elevate them to become one unified challah, like the tree prior to its fall. Whereas it is natural for a man to be involved in things of war and political contention, the innate yearning for peace and harmony embodied by the women will eventually enable the world to reach its perfection. And thus we see this is why the mitzvah of challah is especially designated for women. You can follow this series, A Woman's Worth by Devorah Esther, on YouTube at Gimel Dalet 777. Click subscribe to be notified. If you've enjoyed this video or know someone who would, please share it. Tzikul mitzvot.